Welcome back to a freshly squeezed episode of the Flowscape podcast. I am Sawyer Stinchfield. With me today is a very special guest. He chirps anything and anyone as he sits in his owl hollow in the Pacific Northwest. He applied for a 6 year of eligibility, but Colorado State admissions said, dude, you're 40. It is CSU groundskeeping and hockey legend Spencer Brown. Buddy, welcome to the Flowscape podcast.
What's up? What's up? Thanks for having me on.
No, I'm glad to have you with me. You will be joining us more than once, but glad to have you here. Again, we were talking earlier. I fucked up time zones. I thought for some reason Oregon was an hour behind Dallas, and it is not. It is 2.
Yeah, we're the West Coast, so it's 2 hours.
I knew that. It's farther that way. I knew it deep down in my heart, which is going to be fucked up if I can't figure that out, because yesterday I booked my flights back to Israel for a second stint in the Israeli Elite Hockey League with the boys. Shout out Snakes. Go Halone, baby. But if I can't figure out time zones, that's going to be a rough summer.
Yeah, buddy, that's a different day.
Yeah, it's 8 hours ahead. So if I'm fucking up 2 hours, that's gonna be.
We're
bad.
talking a different day at that point. At sometimes.
Yeah. Let's get right into this. I think it's only fitting that we start with Dallas and Minnie, considering my shirt, considering I am a Dallas homer. And I think it's only fitting that we start with the Dumba hit because we have not addressed it yet. And I think we need to address it so we can just fucking move on from it and get it out of the way. Here's my take.
Get your rant out. Just get it out.
Here's my take. Okay. At the end of the day, it's playoff hockey. I don't have an issue with the hit in certain situations. I have an issue with the hit in that situation. I am not going to go so far as to say it was dirty, but it was 100% unnecessary. It was completely unnecessary. The other problem was Pavelski, if you watch, was engaged with another player as he was going to the net. That being said, it was shoulder to shoulder. The reason for the concussion was Pavelski hitting his head on the ice. But here's the other part of that people are forgetting. I'm back on the LA train. LA fans, you're with me on this. They fucking hate Dumba and they want his head too, because I forgot last season he fucking kneed the shit out of Kempe, and that was dirty. So he rides that fucking line. He should have been fined. That's the last thing I'm gonna fucking say. It should have been $5,000 fucking dollars. I'm not gonna say it should have been suspended, but if you don't fine him, you're just there's no precedent set.
Yeah. No, I mean. It's weird because it's almost a clean hit. And I want to emphasize almost. Like, it is technically, like, in the rules of a clean hit, and that's why I only got 2 minutes. But I think easily you call it a 5-minute charge. It kind of, maybe negates the whole issues. But you know what? Domi got in some chucks while they were down.
Yeah, he may have took it a little far, but I mean, you have.
I mean, Pavelski's literally he's solid on the ice. He's out,
and he's Captain America.
Yeah. So no, I mean, yeah, I think in the end you call it a 5-minute charge, and it probably is fine. I think 2-minute was a little soft, but
I think even with how far Domi, this is the last thing I'll say. Even with how far Domi took it with the punches after being told to quit, how Dallas doesn't come out with at least a 2-minute fucking power play out of that is beyond me.
Well, yeah, no, somehow he gets.
I know the 10-minute negates the 5.
I don't. That's where things get wishy-washy within the rules.
Yeah, I know the 10 negates the 5, but you gotta give him You gotta give him the power play. Now, I mean, we're clearly the better team, like last night.
So I have to be honest. I didn't really. That's like the one game. I got caught up watching the LA Edmonton game because it was 2-0. LA started storming back, and the Dallas game was an intermission. And all of a sudden, I look back and it's 6-3. I'm like, Stinchy, what happened?
There was some witchcraft going on. I think it was clearly the hockey gods because we outplayed the shit out of Minnesota the first game, top to bottom. That bounce in double OT it makes me sick watching it,
Yeah,
just how
that was a
dumb it
tough
was.
one.
And Gustafson stood on his head, so give him credit. Terrible coaching decision to throw in Fleury out of fucking nowhere when you have
Man,
a hot
is he
goalie.
done?
Fleury?
Do you think Fleury's done?
He's gotta be. How do you go back to him?
No, I mean, is he hanging him up?
Oh, I don't. I mean,
Does he have game left?
he's got game to be a perennial backup. I mean, that's if he wants that role. Did you watch the highlights?
Yeah.
Did you see the one Hintz's second one where he went to do a half-ass poke check, and then just like what? Like that was.
It looks like he's playing men's league. He looks like he's out for a float skate.
And
But
then
buddy, you're in the playoffs.
and then the Dadonov goal, his second one, the tip from Heiskanen, he just stood there, and then it's like he knew it was in the net before it went in the net. It was that was wild coaching decision to go back to him. It's probably going to go 7. Scott said it best. Predictions are for schmucks, but it's probably going to go 7. It's a oh daddy rough series.
Oh, it's going to be a good one. Yeah, I think it does go 7. I think Dallas does squeak it out in the end. Losing Pavelski is a big loss. I still think they're just a little faster, a little deeper, a little stronger.
Sagan stepped up in that role, but it's yet to be seen if he can. And then they're probably going to have to throw in Wedgwood for a game. You never know how that's going to go.
Wedgie's going to give up some softies.
Especially if he has to play in that fucking zoo.
Yeah.
That's going to be bad. So we'll stick with West. Colorado, Seattle's tonight.
Let's just throw it up.
Go Kraken.
Yeah.
Spencer's a crackhead.
The crackheads are going.
I think I still have Colorado. I mean, if you took Colorado at minus 1,500, that's a great bet. You can live with that. If you end up losing that, that's good money on that. But who knows? Who knows now? I had them in 6, but again,
it's not as easy of a series as everybody says it was. Seattle's not just there for shits and giggles.
No, and this is what I said last week on last week's episode. AJ had mentioned something about Colorado being workhorses, and I said I disagreed with that, and I said they're the opposite. And I think game 1 they tried to go like workhorse for workhorse with Seattle, and I think Seattle is that kind of team.
Oh yeah,
and it did not work.
No, Colorado's flashy. They got to go on the rush. They got to get things going. If McKinnon's not going 100 miles an hour, I mean, without Landeskog, they're just, I don't know. I don't see them making another cup run. I think they're just going to run out of juice.
Losing Landeskog it makes Colorado winning series just as hard as losing Pavelski does for Dallas, because he beat the shit out of Shen last year. Beat the shit out of him, and he just has that presence, and he's your captain. And then just like Pavelski, Captain America, that's a big loss just mentally in that locker room. It's not that both those teams can't win series and can't get out of this first round. It just makes things way tougher.
I mean, you look at Colorado and you look at Tampa, you look at the back-to-back runs. Tampa was older, they're wiser, they went through it, they had a deeper team, they were so much a heavier veteran presence. Colorado's just too young. They haven't played enough hockey. Now they've played too much hockey, but their careers aren't long enough to go through this amount of, this long of 2 seasons back-to-back. I don't think they can do it. They'll get through Seattle, but I don't think they're going to the final.
No, it's very similar to a lot when Boston won the cup.
Toronto goal here.
Didn't they score earlier on the power play too? Didn't Marner pump one in?
Tavares just popped one.
Tavares just popped one. So the thing with Colorado is it's eerily similar to when Boston and some of those teams, especially Boston, when they won that cup in 2011, they had a lot of young, like Sagan. Sagan hasn't won a cup since then. You know what I mean? Colorado had a Bo Byram, Makar, even McKinnon is still pretty young in his career. I mean, when you look
Yeah.
at the
Oh, yeah.
lengths of careers that Crosby and Ovechkin have had, I mean, it takes a lot to get back there, and some guys don't ever see it. I mean, that probably feels like 20 years for Sagan.
Oh, yeah. I can't
So
even imagine.
they're looking at that kind of. But again, I do think they get out of the series. It may go 7. Seattle is just like Dallas was a must-win last night. You can't if you have home ice advantage, you cannot go down 0-2.
Yeah, Colorado does pick up the win tonight.
Oh, that's you. If you hammer that on the money line,
Yeah,
you
no,
hammer that. If you're a
easily.
betting man, you hammer that. You
But I do
hammer them
think
all
Seattle
night.
picks up one of, game 3 or 4 as they go back. I think they will pick up one of those games. So, we're at least
I hope
split.
they do.
I think we'll at least split when they go back to Seattle.
Yeah, I hope they do for those fans. Winnipeg continues to take shit and shove it up my ass, Spencer.
They're
Every
just,
take,
I don't know. Nobody talks about them, and yet they just win games.
every fucking take I've had on Winnipeg since 4 weeks ago has been dog shit. I said they wouldn't make playoffs. I said Calgary would make playoffs. Calgary just fucking axed their GM. So I look like a tool on that one. Then I said something else. I had them losing. I had them losing a game, and they fucking smoked New Jersey. And then I had them going down in 5 to Vegas, and they whooped Vegas. That was just goaltending.
Vegas doesn't have it for me. I mean, the West is so soft, but Vegas just doesn't have it for me. I don't see it. I know Stone's coming back, but he's not 100%. I think he's just coming back to come back.
I'm such a flip-flopper because episode 1, I was on record as saying Vegas are frauds, and then I just don't have the balls to take back any of my Winnipeg takes, so I'm just riding everything.
Check my NHL bracket.
No
Definitely
balls.
says Vegas, but I'm definitely now saying Winnipeg on the floor.
No balls. I will that if Brassard plays every game and he plays like that, that's icky. I don't like that.
No,
I don't like that. And if Hellebuck plays like that, then Winnipeg could close that out in 5 for God's sakes. I mean, that's just.
I mean, if they pick up game 2, which they could, then you got to go to Winnipeg, which it's still winter in Winnipeg. It's still dark. It's still cold. Vegas doesn't want to go there. They're not going to win a game. They're just going to be chilly.
Vegas is going to get to Winnipeg in fucking late April, and it's going to be dark at 4:30, and it'll be 25 degrees, and they're going to be like, "What the fuck is I don't want to be here."
Did we stop off in Siberia on the way to Winnipeg?
Yeah. That's a now looking like a very tough series for Vegas, and it's going to come down to most likely goaltending.
Mm-hmm.
What is Edmonton? I don't know. They are an enigma wrapped in a puzzle inside of an anomaly.
Yeah. Things. I don't know. Connor McWho, he makes an assist last night, but
I don't give a shit. I'm telling you right now, hot take. If I had to start a franchise today and you gave me the option between the only 2 players I could choose from to start my franchise today were McDavid and Draisaitl, I'm taking Leon. He's a fucking gamer. He had almost just as many points as McDavid did in the regular season, but it doesn't get talked about because McDavid broke the record. And then he is the one that consistently shows up in the playoffs. He was the one that showed up game 1.
2 goals.
He was the one.
2 points last night.
He got him on the board. He got him on the board last night. He fucking ripped that puck on the power play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't give a shit if McDavid has an assist. Assists are not why he's Connor McJesus. That is not who he is. Fuck his assist.
I mean, they're going to have to get through this series without him because, so let's throw some props to Anze Kopitar, who probably has the most underrated Hall of Fame career of our generation, and no one talks about him.
Easily a first ballot Hall of Famer.
And nobody talks about him. I mean, this guy's literally the probably top shutdown center of our generation. And he hides.
Yeah. Yeah. And hides like people just don't. Yeah. I mean, I forget about him too. And then I go watch Dallas play LA sometimes, And I'm like, that motherfucker is so big
Yeah,
and such a presence, and he plays physical, but he's clean as shit. He's like one of those guys where like there's nothing ever dirty, but he's so nasty with the puck. His hockey IQ, yeah,
I'm pretty sure he's almost won a Lady Bing.
I'm
That's clean
I'm
player right
back on the
there.
I had LA in 7. I'm back on the LA train. I take back my original takes from the first episode and second episode. I'm back on the LA train. LA peeps, I love you. I apologize for what I said. Please allow me back into the city without physical violence. I love you. I'm back on the LA train. I think I do not trust Edmonton.
No, I mean, I'll pump Anze, I'll pump Doughty, but they're not getting out of the first round. I think Edmonton does wake up. I think we won't see McDavid this round. They'll move on to, I think, Vegas, and then we'll probably see him. But
I don't trust him.
he'll wake up eventually. He has to. He's just he's got that fire. We do know he has that fire. It's just he's hiding right now.
I yeah, it could be it literally could be where I'm sitting here saying this, and tomorrow night, first 30 seconds, he fucking takes a puck, goes coast to coast, past everybody, and does some little backhand short side high that from some fucking impossible angle, and then it's like in and out before anybody like knows what happened, and that's
Good.
very much a possibility.
Toronto
Very much a
goal.
possibility. Oh my god, 3-0.
3-0 in the first. A little Nylander action.
See, this is playoffs are nuts because the teams that are having to respond are fucking responding. Dallas, um, who do we talk about earlier? Who had to respond?
Well, Colorado needs to respond.
Oh yeah. So Dallas, Colorado has to respond. Toronto has to respond tonight. Vegas has to respond.
Yeah.
So, Bo- what is Boston? What are they? They literally have waited till the first 2 games of the playoffs to play their worst hockey I've ever seen.
And I mean, I think we could have called this. I mean, I don't call it the curse of the President's Trophy yet. I think they'll wake up. They have way too many veterans to just punk out in the first round after this. But they got to
Again,
wake up.
I'm a mush. I am on record as saying they scare me because of the President's Trophy, because we've seen it before, because they have so many expectations, and then I'm on record as saying I think they're going to win the Stanley Cup and they're going to sweep Florida. So I am a giant mush bag. They what? Why? Okay, I understand that as hockey players, and me and you are old school. You know, we're 92s and 91s, and we come from the day of an age of you play through shit that scientifically now, like we know you should not play through. But we are also in a day and age where the game is different. The game is evolving. The game is faster. These kids that are now coming into the league and are turning into men are taking their careers as far as off ice much more seriously than the culture was even 5 years ago as far as drinking. Like you talk to a lot of older vets on the NHL teams, and a lot of these young kids aren't going out or anything like that. They're staying in, playing chill, like you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
they're eating these like snap kitchen meals with these meals, meal prep services, so they don't have to do anything. It's a different day and age. So why the fuck is Bergeron playing against Montreal in the last game of the season? I don't want to say load management. We have to bring it into the game. It's a different game. He's got no business playing that fucking game.
I don't. But doesn't he sit a couple games prior to that? I think he was. I don't know. It's
understand it's
hard
his
because he
choice.
gets sick. I think as that captain, maybe you do want to play the last game of the season, the last 2 games of the season. So at least you're buzzing going into the first game of playoffs. I understand. I think especially because they clinched it in the middle of March, yeah, you definitely start shutting down some guys. But I mean, I think I would want to play the last couple of games going to the playoffs. You don't want to go cold.
But I think so. If I'm a GM, or a head coach, and again, I'm a dummy, but if I'm them, right? I understand the guys want to play. I
Yep.
understand that. But my philosophy would be the last two games, you don't if you've played 70 games, 75 games, 80 games, two games is not at this level, two games is not going to hurt you. If anything, the rest is going to help you. So my philosophy would be the last two games, our studs are sitting and we're calling up some guys and we're giving some young kids some looks because they're going to play hard. And it's not like bringing up those young guys is going to put us in a worse position to lose games because those young guys are going to take it very seriously because it's their last chance to make an impression or maybe even get brought on as a black ace for the playoffs. So
I think you already know who
just
you're riding with, though.
the last two, man, the last two.
I don't
You
know.
see what happens. He's fucking hurt.
He's not hurt. He's sick.
He's fucking hurt.
He's sick. He's got a sniffle.
That's some NHL PA bullshit is what that fucking is. That's some NHL PA bullshit. So we've mentioned it. Toronto's up 3-0. Let's move into that series. They have got a commanding lead. Is it first period still?
Yeah, about a minute left.
That's banana lands. 3-0 first period. But we saw what happened. I mean, Dallas was up 3-1, 4-1. Mini stormed back, made it 4-3, had 2 goals in 19 seconds. And then Fleury again just was nowhere to be found. So anything could happen that game. But again, Tampa Bay, here's the thing. I want Corey Perry back. I don't care. That guy is ageless. I mean, he's the same player he was.
He has not
when
aged. He looks the same.
Yeah, like he may look just like a tad older, but like the way he plays the game, just the way he fights people is the same. He's scrappy.
He is
oh my
playoff
God.
hockey, but he just plays it.
Yeah.
82 games a season. You're like, Perry, go away.
Yeah, like what did Cooper say when they said how long do you think Perry will play, and he said how long do worms live?
It's true though. Like that.
Yeah, I mean
he just keeps going.
There's just a few guys that don't like. Getzlaf towards the end of his those last couple seasons look like you could tell there was a noticeable difference. The same with Thornton. There's a few guys who it's not very. It's Pavelski and it's him and it's Parise, and it's Palmieri and it's Suter looks good for Suter's giving a big fuck you to Minnesota.
He's a defenseman. That is, yeah. It's a bit
whatever.
of a different style, but I mean, all those
Right.
guys, they're not huge guys. They're average size guys. They play hard nosed games, so it's kind of interesting that they've all been able to play this long.
And I said it. If Toronto doesn't start fucking gassing beers like men, they're fucked because we know the kind of locker room culture that Tampa Bay has. And I don't think there's a tighter knit group in the NHL than that Tampa Bay team. I mean, there's not.
There's also not another team in the NHL that has played as many games as that team has in the past 3 years.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, again, I have Toronto winning in 7.
Yeah.
Predictions
I
are
have
fucking
to
dumb.
pick Toronto. But
Here's the thing. Toronto, here, mark my fucking words. If you lose this series and do not get out of the first round this year, I'm done. I will never pick you again for anything ever. I don't want it. I don't want you. I don't want it if you can't get out of this series because it's just too much. I don't want to waste my time with it anymore. It's too much. And if you're a Toronto fan, you should feel the same fucking way.
I mean, Matthews is going to be gone if they don't make it out of the first round.
I would be. It's
unless the GM's
it's
gone,
not good
the
for the
coach is
NHL.
gone.
It's not good for the NHL.
No, it's not. It's really not. I mean, you need those guys to go deep. You need them to make runs. You need them in the playoffs.
Yeah, it is. It's not good for the NHL to not have them not make the playoffs and continuously lose in the first round. It's going to wear down on a lot of those young guys in that room. Do you call the high stick in overtime in Carolina?
I think so.
Did he not see it?
It-
Or did he see Mayfield pop Martinook's stick up into his own face? Because that is kind of what happened.
I never saw the slow motion. All I saw was the play.
So the slow motion, Martinook's trying to skate away, and he is doing the motion of pulling his stick around like very normal, right? But then Mayfield at the last second I personally think it was to knock his stick out of his hands so that it takes him out of the play. He went to pop it up at the blade, and it was like the two at the same time. Martinook trying to come around, and then he popped it up at the same time, and then it hit him. Here's the other thing. It's fucking overtime, and it's playoff hockey. Get the fuck up off the ice and get in the fucking
And
play.
see, here's actually what I'm going to say. Because of how he goes down covering his face, I think you at least have to blow the whistle. Even if even if you're not going to call the penalty, because it's overtime, I know what you're
But they
going to
didn't have
say.
possession.
I know, and it gets wishy-washy, but the way he went down, that ref just caused that goal by either not making a call, making a call. I don't know what the right answer is, but I don't think just going, oh, there it goes, was the right way to do it.
But you can't.
We need
He
Yerk.
wasn't cut-
Where's Yerk? We need Yerk to chime in on this.
He wasn't cut open. He wasn't bleeding. He wasn't missing a tooth. He was missing a tooth. But
He
it
doesn't
wasn't
know
from the
that,
stick.
I guess, until you come up and look.
But then that's trying to hope and pray that there's something more there when you should just fucking get your ass up and skate bloodied towards the puck and maybe take a body, or I don't know.
He's
But
not kidding.
it's just
Yeah, I know. I see what you're saying, but I don't know. It's just
and then
hard.
did Sorokin quit on the play too? Like, did he think that there was a penalty called too? Because how did Slavin just go far side mid glove?
Yeah.
Like it looked like Sorokin just stood there.
Yeah, that was a weird one. He also let in the one from Sebastian Aho, his own teammate, where he's just like, how do you not see that puck coming in on you, even though your teammate tipped it towards you?
He also let in one off the fucking back of his head from behind the goddamn fucking goal line. That's unacceptable.
Yeah, so that's why I'm picking Carolina.
That's why I do have Carolina, and I've had Carolina. That's unacceptable. That's when I don't care how much your team loves you. That's when your whole team on the bench goes, fucking make a save. Like that's
a backbreaker. I mean, that's so hard. You go into the room with your head down. It's not even a my bad because everybody knows it's your bad.
Islanders fans that are bitching about the overtime penalty, yeah, it maybe should have been called, but you also got away with a fucking lacrosse-style tomahawk that broke Teravainen's hand and put him out for the season.
Yeah.
So, take your fucking medicine. You can't have it both ways. You can't. I mean, that was even more egregious, I think, than the high stick because the guy's carrying the puck. How are you not watching the puck carrier? If you're not watching the puck carrier, what are you watching? And he choked down on his stick and went all hands team.
Oh, yeah.
99 NFL Madden.
And he's done.
Fucking dummy and he's done.
He's done.
So if you're an Islanders fan, yeah, maybe should have been called. And yeah, it was a different time in the game and a more costly time, but you got away with a fucking big one. And you have all your players still, and they're down another man. So you better figure it out because your options are running thin. Because if you don't finish this series or make a comeback, then Carolina beat you very, very empty-handed.
Yeah.
So, did New Jersey forget they were in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think they're a little bit too young. I don't think they're quite ready to be there. I think they had a fun regular season, but I think the big boys are ready to play hockey now.
I mean, that was a clear example of there were some men amongst boys out there, and how do you not have a shot on the power play? It's like 2 power plays. They didn't have a fucking shot on net.
Again, playoff hockey. They're thinking they're just going to buzz right into the zone because they think it's game 78 when they're playing Columbus. They think that, they're playing a bunch of AHL players still, and they can just set up in the zone, snap it around like it's a crispy biscuit, and put it in the back of the net.
If the Rangers had actually like stuck to the game plan that they played the first period and then like the last 15 of the third period, that score would have been even worse. And just the overall physical presence of like the game of how uneven it was would have been way more noticeable because the Rangers took a whole second period off as far as turnovers and just giving them on-man rushes, which is New Jersey's game, and they still didn't capitalize on it.
I think the Rangers are playing checkers while we're all playing chess. I think they've all been bamboozling us from the time they got Kane. They're switching around lines. They're switching around power plays. They're not saying, hey, why isn't this working? They're saying, okay, what are some other combinations that work? And now I think they're primed and ready to go.
The Rangers are Giovanni Ribisi, Sneaky Pete from Amazon Prime, just conned everybody into thinking like we're frauds because we're so good, and they look the exact opposite of Boston. If you gave me Boston the way they've played this hot take, the way they've played their first 2 games, and gave me New York the way they've played their first game, and put them in a series right now, New York fucking whoops that ass.
You know how it works out though is they'd be the Eastern Conference Final.
If
I picked New York in that Eastern Conference.
I'm taking
final.
New York.
Oh yeah.
As of right now, I'm on New York. If it's an Eastern Conference final, and if they fucking played a series today, if they played a game tonight, New York probably fucking smokes them.
Oh yeah, easily. I think quite handedly.
Boston snuck out that first game. I mean, the score may not tell you, but it wasn't that way.
It was back and forth until it wasn't.
Yeah, they were not the same team. And then you think, okay, we're President's Trophy winners. We should have probably lost. We didn't deserve to win that first game. And it's almost like the same feeling you get for like a Dallas or a Colorado who lost the first game. Like, we need to come out the second game, and it's almost like a must win. And they looked even fucking worse. I would take New York right fucking now.
I mean, let's not call Boston dead. I think I'll say the same thing with McDavid and the entire team of Boston. I think being home, they might have a little too much pressure on them right now. I think they need to get on the road and kind of reset, get in the hotel with the boys, have a few beers, sit, maybe, get on the plane, buzz around. And I think that might reset them both to kind of get them going and maybe set them back in the right direction here.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I 100% agree. What are the scores right now? Toronto's still up 3-0.
Toronto is up, and then we got 0-0 in the Rangers Devils game.
0-0. Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, again, to just recap a little bit, if you gave me 2 players to start a franchise today, I'm taking Draisaitl over McDavid. I don't give a fuck. I mean, it's that. Dallas has to fucking figure out some kind of physical presence. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to fight Reeves. Somebody's.
They have to play big.
They have to play.
Minnesota's got some big boys. You don't trade away Greenway if you don't have enough big boys to go into the playoffs.
Oh yeah, I mean, and Foligno's a fucking animal.
He's a horse. So they've got to learn to play big to get that series win.
Yeah, I mean, and again, so some guys are gonna have to step up and play tougher. Here's the other thing: Kaprizov needs to knock his shit off, or we're not having it.
He's gonna do what he's gonna do.
I know, but he doesn't play on a line with Ryan Reeves, and Ryan Reeves can go out there and fucking ask guys to fight all they want, but if they don't, they don't, and if he does it, it's an instigating. So again, we're to the day and age where you can't just force a guy to fight. I mean, if you drop your gloves first and that guy even shows a hint of I don't want this and then ends up fighting you, you're going to get the extra 2 every time. And yeah, he may whoop somebody's ass, but Kaprizov is also putting some guys in. It's also Minnesota's game is tough, hard-nosed hockey. It's not like knockdown fight night, like line brawl hockey. So he's putting a lot of guys like in positions that they really don't need to be in the playoffs. So that's all I'll say on that. Can you real quick? How did you win? You went to court.
Yeah.
Did you fight it? You fought a ticket, you sneaky fuck. How did you?
I fought a traffic ticket.
You fought a parking ticket, didn't you?
Speeding ticket.
So you actually were like, all right, fuck this. I'm gonna go to court and fight this.
Yes, and I still to this day don't believe that I should have been given a ticket, but I in theory won. So fuck them.
Did he not? Did he not show up? Did the cop?
Oh, he showed up. No, he showed up. We went. Yeah, this is what I mean. I went through.
And you said, sir, let's me and you go toe to toe on some bird law and see who comes out the victor.
Yeah, I was all lawyered up. I was ready to go. I came in with my little notebook. I was like, let's do this, buddy.
Did you have Brenton on like Zoom?
I almost texted him that morning. I was like, I don't know if I need some words that I can drop so I know what I'm saying. But
Brenton, give me some big legal words to say to the judge so I look cool.
But okay, basically, we won't get into it. But I was in like the last part of a traffic zone. I could see the speed limit increasing beyond me, so I sped up to that speed limit. So technically, he got me for going 45 into 25, but he pulled me over after the 45-mile-an-hour sign.
You have done this before.
Yes, but this time I actually went to argue my point.
Yeah, you have done this. You have done this before. This has happened before. This time you said, "No more. I'm fighting this fucking thing. Stop gunning me before I'm past the sign."
Yeah, exactly. I am allowed to speed up at the sign.
Johnny Law Spencer.
So, yeah, basically what I have to do is I have to take a 3-hour traffic course and not get another speeding ticket within a year, and the ticket goes away.
You could have just paid a fucking lawyer $100 to do that for you and not gone to court.
Yeah, but I wanted to do it.
This was principle.
You should have seen the look on this man's face when he walked through the court and saw who he had to deal with that day. That alone was the most satisfying part for him, just to go, ugh, all right.
God.
And I played no contest, because at the end they're like, well, do you want to plead guilty or no contest to accept this deal? I said, no contest. I'm not saying guilty.
Charlie Murphy, I plead the fifth.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm guilty. No way, no how. Spencer didn't do this.
No, you are guilty. You are 100% guilty. Do not fucking fool anybody.
Yeah, probably. I probably just should have paid the $168, moved on. I just didn't want it on. I don't want to pay for the more insurance. Why does insurance have to go up because this guy decided I was speeding too quickly?
It's all a scam.
It's all a scam.
It's all a scam. It's all a scam. We'll end it there. That is the life advice. It's all a scam. Put it on a fucking t-shirt. Put it on a hat, a license plate, whatever you want. It's all a scam, baby. Culture. That's right. Culture. Coldture. Culture is Canada's #1 cold tub company. If you're tired of feeling fatigued before and after workouts, games, or just life in general, it's time to step up your game with the ultimate recovery tool, Culture Cold Tub products. The health benefits are out of this world. Plus, there's no better feeling than dipping into an ice cold tub and emerging as the best version of yourself. Culture has got you covered with the perfect products for all your cold plunge therapy needs. I've personally been using ice bath therapy since my days in AAA hockey, and it really aids me in the recovery process after practices, games, and even just the hassle of everyday fatigue. So what are you waiting for? Join the cold plunge revolution and become the best version of yourself just like me. Get your Culture Cold Tub today. Fucking nail that ad read, baby. That is the flow skate
ad read.
What an ad. Yeah, let's go. That is the Flow Skate podcast. Like, subscribe. Full episode will be up on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. We love you. Spencer Brown will be back. Give him a follow on Instagram, wherever you see the links. We love you. Flow Skate podcast all the way, baby. Have a good one.